Yeah.
You've been surrounded by supernatural creatures in the last year.
I have.
All kinds of creatures. How does it feel to be a woman who might or might not be a fairy? That's the weirdest question.
Folklore in general follows me quite a bit. I have to remind myself I'm human. For me, it really comes down to story. People say, oh, what are your favorite kind of movies? And I say, well, I don't have a favorite kind of genre. I like stories, and whatever path that leads you down, I like the good story path. That's the only path I like. So be it, horror for the rest of my life, or if it switches from period pieces that are in a horror genre, or if it's a sci-fi like Arrival, which, you're learning my favorite movies.
Yeah.
Or even, something like The Man Who Knew Too Much. I love this idea of the what if, like we were talking about earlier. And that what if, Doris Day and her mind spinning is almost worse than what is the reality as bad as what she's imagining. And, that's not too far from the theme of lore, and in particular the episode that I was working on. So I follow the good content is what I try to do. I follow that with docs, I follow that with scripted, and I follow that with podcasts. So that's mainly what I try to do. And I follow it with magazines as well. I mean, magazines, like there's magazines now that are doing pop-up live variety shows. That reminded me a lot of lore. A magazine called California Sunday, and they do live, a variety show that is bringing back this kind of old art form, and I love that it's now going to be on television screens as well. And so I really like where television's heading. It's constantly pushing the envelope.
So for both of you, since you brought up podcasts, what podcast do you listen to if you listen to any?
I listen to lore. I love Pod Saves America, obviously. One of my favorites is called Here's the Thing with Alec Baldwin.
Okay.
He does excellent interviews. Who knew he had like Oprah level interview skills?
Really?
He really do feel like you're a conversation. You do a fly on the wall of a conversation. He'll interview the chief police of the NYPD. He'll interview an opera singer, the editor of Martin Scorsese, the president of Doctors Without Borders. It's a different term in France, like their French version. I mean, he just all walks of life, and he's really well educated and just versed in whoever he's interviewing. There was the CEO, I think it was Howard Schultz of Starbucks. Yeah, that one. So he's probably one of my favorites. I dive in with him, and Aaron Minky honestly was one of my other favorites. I'm also just a big NPR fan, so anything from the Baltimore area usually fares well with me. Good old S-Town and Serial. But I love that podcast. I think as we commute, there's urban sprawl. It's amazing that audio is such a lovely reincarnated form of entertainment for us. I think that it goes hand in hand with each other because commuting is inevitable in our day and age in our cities. So it's nice that podcasts are there for us.
Yeah, I mean, I think Aaron Mahnke is the Stephen King of podcasting. The guy is incredible. I love lore, and that's kind of what made all this possible, obviously. I'm also a huge fan of Sword and Scale. I think what Mike Boudet is doing over there is so horrifying, but yet telling about humanity and the dark things that we do, the kind of monster inside. Is terrifying. When I listen to this podcast, sometimes I have to pause it. I'm like, I can't handle this, but I'll go back to it. That said, I am a homer for horror. I love everything from The Exorcist to The Human Centipede. I like it all. But Sword and Scale is the most horrifying thing I've ever listened to in my life. I love Up and Vanished, Payne Lindsay, Citizen Sleuth. I think what he's done in helping crack the case of Terry Grinstead is amazing. For her family and for justice I think that's just absolutely incredible and inspiring. I love the medium in general. There's so many amazing ones. TED Talks, like I'm the type of guy where you hear one on like I saw one about a girl who's like a human mermaid, and I was like, hey, could I be a merman? I'm so simple, and I love the way that we can kind of bring experts into our room. Like she was talking about earlier about working on her accent on YouTube. I love that we live in this age where we can find experts and information and teach ourselves. I think podcasts are a way to do that.
Even adventure, just to segue for a second, I mean, Red Bull Media House has a couple podcasts that actually take you on like what it feels like audibly of slacklining or mountaineering or ice climbing. And so, I think that podcasts are pretty incredibly descriptive, considering you're not seeing anything these days. Just a testament to the kind of storytellers that are out there right now.
Yeah.
Citizen Sleuth, I'm going to have to get a list from him.
It's a good one. I love that Spotify is now programming original podcasts. I'm very excited for what Courtney is doing over there. I love what Apple Music, is doing and building over there. But also, I think it's a medium that allows what would traditionally be outsiders to Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
Aaron Mahnke he didn't go to New York Film School. He doesn't have some fancy degree. He doesn't come from the fraternity of George Lucas and the USC guys, right? Which are great, and I love that. But Aaron Mahnke started in the basement on the East Coast, where he had been a novelist trying to sell books like so many other writers out there, like friends of mine, like my sister, like so many people I know. And yet he was able to get his product out there, his stories out there, his passion out there initially, and I should let him tell the story, but initially to grow his mailing list, right? It was kind of like a byproduct. It wasn't like, let me start this phenomenon and grow. It was like, hey, let me do this to grow my mailing list.
He grew his mailing list all right.
Yes.
Amazon viewership.
Yeah, and now he's got a show where he's working with Gail and her and Glenn Morgan, and I'm lucky to be a part of it and help bring it to the screen. But Ben Silverman always tells me that the best stories come from real talent, and real talent is Aaron Mahnke.
So we were joking before. So tell us how it's like working with Nick Cage on Face Off.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Better than you could imagine.
I was debating if I wanted to ask you that.
It's not the first time I've heard it.
Like legitimately people have asked you.
Oh, I remember in the Face-Off offices we had pictures from the movie in the hallway. Like we were all in on the joke for sure. For sure.
But on the subject, how do you go from Face Off to Laura? Different shows.
Good question. I started my career actually in special effects makeup. My first job in Hollywood was working for Rick Baker. Rick has 7 Academy Awards for special effects makeup. The last film I got to do over there was a film called Hellboy, and Guillermo del Toro would come in every day. I was the lowest man on the totem pole and was so grateful and happy to be there. But I love storytelling, and I think, in this day and age, I don't believe that it's regulated to one medium or one voice. Great stories come from everywhere. They don't have to be on a podcast or a TV show or a book, like wherever and however you could get them. I'm fortunate that I'm in a position where I do know a lot of great people, and I have a limited understanding of how kind of Hollywood works. So I think, I got into this business because I want to tell stories, and I want to work with people that inspire me. So to be here sitting with this incredible woman and working with Gail, working with Ben and Howard and Glenn Morgan, it's inspiring. I'm just, hopefully this is the first of many more to come.
Do you find doing makeup and stuff is almost a form of storytelling, like you were saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think, it's somewhat of a lost art form, but the same thing happens in photography. The same thing happens when you draw a picture. But makeup, absolutely. When people talk about a film like Alien or even E.T., you think about what that monster looks like. And there's many artists involved in that, but certainly the makeup artist has something to do with it. I remember when I got hired at Rick's the first time, the first day I walked in, Rick came in, and I was in the room, and I think I was making zombies at the time for Haunted Mansion, which is my favorite experience at Disneyland. The movie's tough. But, and he comes in and he opens the door and he looks at me and he says, "Who the hell hired you?" And he shut the door. Now, he was just screwing with me, right? But getting to know him and the way that he helped bring classic characters to life, American Werewolf in London, Thriller, yes, absolutely, it's an integral part of storytelling, and I think I'd love to do 10 more shows like Face Off. There's so much more ideas I have in that space. I think right now the competition space is a little crowded and needs to be kind of reinvented. I think a lot of what we see is derivative of that kind of original Project Runway format, and I think makeup artists, and I know I'm a homer for it because I come from that world, but I think are incredible storytellers. They create the look, the costume, and all these different things, and I want to do more in that space.
There's a lot of respect when practicals are used, meaning not a lot of special effects as far as CGI goes. Yeah, the practicals. It's always fun when you see a lot of practicals on set. As an actor, you get really excited.
Holland, was it different? You just spent so many years on Teen Wolf.
Yeah.
And going into a series and with a specific character, was it different doing just like a one-off character so closely after you were finished?
Yeah, it was a matter of, it was like 2-3 weeks after I was done filming that I flew to Atlanta to do this project, and I was nervous because I felt like I was going in on my first job interview in so many years. I felt a little dated and rusty and was just nervous. I had never acted outside of Teen Wolf for literally years, and so I had become on Teen Wolf like a news junkie. I'd become a doc obsessive nerd fan, fangirling on those things, and I haven't quit in that genre, but I was getting my feet wet again, and so I was just so blessed to have an amazing cast and really friendly, approachable, grounded creative that come from pretty spectacular corners of this industry. So I know everyone says this, but it's true. You're just grateful, and it passed in the blink of an eye. And I tried to savor each little moment because I didn't want to forget what it first felt like. But to play an accent, a girl from a different country, a different time period, and an entirely new cast, I was nervous.
All right, thank you guys so much.
I was nervous. I don't want to end on that.